Okay. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Mitch. How you doing, man?
We're in Japan. We're going to have a beer together.
We're all going to have a beer. Cheers.
What's up, bro?
What are you drinking?
So I'm drinking Asahi Super Dry.
Okay, lovely.
This is like the Bud Light of Japan.
That is the Japanese beer, right?
It's my favorite beer. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Rainbows and Unicorns.
Well, that's not a very Japanese beer.
I don't know what this is. I don't even know where it's from.
Well, cheers, bro. Let's get drunk.
Well, cheers, dude.
So we're here today, guys, to get drunk. Mm-hmm. And also to answer any of you guys' questions about Japan, if you have any questions about Japan, as qualified Japanese people.
Experts.
Well, I'm a quarter Japanese.
You are, even though you don't look it at all.
This blonde hair is absolutely real.
Yeah.
It's real.
It looks real.
It's really, really bleached is what it is. It's really, really bleached.
Yeah. So,
Alex, so for our audience of how many people are watching this graph?
We have 14 people watching right now.
Hey, 14 people. If you guys have any questions for us about living in Japan, I'm Mitch. This is Alex. We live in Japan. We are broadcasting live from Japan right now. So what are our questions, Josh?
All right. Our first question is from our patron, Jen,
Yeah.
who asks, why Kagoshima? Was it just by chance or did something draw you here?
I'll throw that to Alex because you came here first.
I did. I came here, 16 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So I've been living here for 16 years, yeah. And for me, totally chance, man. I came on a jet program, so I was an ALT at first. Mm-hmm. And I kind of wanted to go somewhere that wasn't Tokyo, so I thought maybe Kyushu. And asked for Fukuoka, and this is where they sent me.
So Fukuoka is like, a 4-hour drive from here.
Yeah. But I had no idea what Kagoshima was, man. I searched for it on the internet. Back then, you used to get like a Wikipedia page with, Sakurajima, the volcano at the top of it.
Wait, 16 years ago. So that was like 1983. When was that?
Jesus Christ, man. That was 2005.
Oh, wow. I came in 2007.
2007, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, but you're right. I got placed in Kagoshima on the JET program as well. And when I searched for Kagoshima, like it was a Wikipedia article that I think had 2 sentences that weren't very great English sentences with a picture of Sakurajima, the volcano. And then that's it.
It was just like, there is an active volcano here.
They're like, be careful. And I was like, all right, guys, going to Japan. See ya, everybody.
So I was like imagining just like a small beachside town with like a beach and, a volcano. And when I came here, it's quite a big city. So I was really pleasantly surprised.
There's like 300,000 people here. And I don't know, I'm from Vegas. So we have like 2 million people in the greater Vegas area. So doesn't seem like that big, but there's, it's a proper city.
Yeah.
Concrete and everything, trams.
Well, for England, this is a big city. A big-ish city, right?
I've never been to England. I do know a little bit about your hometown. I watched a documentary.
Excellent.
It's about a drag queen.
Yes.
I forgot the name of it.
Yeah. What's it? Something about Jamie or something like that.
Everybody Loves Jamie or something like that. I don't remember. It's on Amazon Prime or something like that.
That's quite a good movie.
You're from Sheffield, right?
Sheffield, man. Yeah, Sheffield. Northern England.
And what do you do here? Now you're not a jet anymore, right? Because you only be a jet for 5 years. So you did the whole 5 years.
I did 5 years on jet.
I did 1 year, said fuck you jet program and did my own thing after that. You did 5 years.
Yeah, but I was occupied with cultural pursuits.
You mean you had kids?
Yeah. I had kids. And it was an easy job that paid the bills.
Yeah, so you just like show up to work, don't really do anything, and then study Japanese every day, right?
Study Japanese every day, did all the Japanese culture stuff.
And you get paid well.
Yeah, you get paid pretty well for doing nothing.
Yeah, if you compare... like if you're an ALT and you're watching this, we love you. We just shit on the program, not on the ALTs. ALTs that come here are mostly talented people that are just underused by the jet program. But it's low responsibility, and compared to the actual the other people in the where you're living, you get paid relatively well.
Yeah.
So you can definitely support a family on the ALT salary.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Especially in the regions of Japan, and it's a good chance to kind of learn about the culture and find out what's going on here. So I mean, like, it's easy to slag off ALTs and shit like that, but really, it's a good program to come on if you're interested in Japan. You want to find out about it.
So that's the thing is, like, when I was an ALT, right, for the year I was an ALT, like I was with a bunch of other ALTs the entire time. I didn't really get into the culture too much, but I just remember feeling ostracized at work. Like, it's like every day I'd go there. Like, I went to school for 6 years. I was super ready to go. Like, I had all these ideas, and I'd go to work every day, and they'd just be like, shut the fuck up, sit in your corner, and be good. And I was just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, we have other questions. All right,
sweet.
Just throw it at us.
Yeah, we have a question on Reddit from Depressed Pop.
Hi.
What's up?
Why is there a ton of snacks in front of you?
Oh, so we're gonna get drunk and eat these. These are all Japanese snacks that I got from a place called Don Quixote. Isn't Don Quixote a story about a guy who's chasing windmills, right?
He's like a crazy
person.
Spanish guy.
Yeah, he wanted to like become a hero, and for whatever reason, some Japanese businessman thought that would be the perfect name for like what would you call a Don Quixote? Like
Don
a big,
Quixote is like a
it's like a Walmart. It's basically a Walmart.
It's Walmart that sells dildos.
Yeah, dildos and what are they called? Tanga.
Yeah, Tanga, masturbation aids.
Tanga. Did you know that they have a large size Tanga? And do you know what the name of it is?
No.
It's called Tanga US.
Really?
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
It's funny because the large size condoms in Japan as well are called, what are they called?
They have Big Boy.
Big Boy.
And it's got a picture of a horse on it. And then they have Really Big Boy. And that has a picture of an elephant on it.
Does it?
Yeah.
Shit,
and both of them are colored black.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just, keep going with that, guys.
Where are we headed with this? So these were supposed to make everything look a bit more Japanese because we were thinking like, is it going to look Japanese enough? Because we're in my office at the moment, actually.
Yeah, we're in your office, your studio office. And then I was thinking like, how do people know we're in Japan? Because we're two white boys just sitting in front of the camera with microphones. And he was like, so I had some ideas, right? First I said, let's dress in kimono. He said that was racist or something. I don't remember.
Say it was racist. He couldn't be bothered.
He said no. And I said, let's cook nabe because like, we could like put it in front of us and we could like eat while we're talking. And he's like, no. Mm-hmm. And then his idea was instead of the quiet things, to do this. This was his idea.
But this is cheap and easy to clean up. So that's why I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I went to Don Quixote to buy all this stuff, right? And I don't do snack food, so I didn't know what to get. So I mainly just bought alcohol and then whatever was near the alcohol.
Right. Okay. So what have we got here anyway? We've got big bag shio chips.
So the shio is salt, right?
Like potato chips in Japan, or crisps as we call them. They don't come in reasonable sized packets, right? Because in England you have a packet of crisps for one person, but in Japan, like it's either this size or ludicrously small.
So, okay, let's just talk about that. When you say ludicrously small, the package is actually not that bad, but it's just filled with only air.
Yeah.
You open it, there's only 4 potato chips in there. And you're like, what is this for? And then, I don't know. It's
for kids, right? Maybe.
Well, I'm from America, so we have like the Super Mondo Jumbo size from Costco. So you open it and they go stale before you can finish them.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Huh. So actually the best snack here, I would say, is this right here. If you guys go to an Asian market, wherever you're from, make sure you pick these up because these go perfectly with beer.
They do.
They're ebite, shrimp flavored. I don't know what you call these, like puffed fries.
Puffed corn. I don't know.
They're perfect. They're not a lot of calories, and when you eat them, they kind of disappear.
Yeah. These things are horrible. Karubi.
Really?
I hate these things. Jagariko.
I don't even know what those are. I saw that there was a lot of them and I got them.
Not into that.
Josh is like literally, that's Josh, by the way. He's like the, if you ever watch the Joe Rogan podcast, he's the Jamie of our podcast. He sits back and Google shit. And he's about as good as Jamie.
Yeah, it's font of all knowledge.
And he's got his exactly the same amount of money as Jamie, too. He drives a Tesla like Jamie, lives in a big baller house.
Does he?
No.
I've never been to Josh's house.
We're nowhere near the size of a Joe Rogan podcast, man. Sorry, Josh, what's the question?
Another question from our patron asking, what do you love about Kagoshima and what do you think the area has that other places may lack?
Well, we have a giant volcano.
Yeah, that's true. So what do I love about Kagoshima? For me, it's like the size of the city is just right. Like you can walk across it. You can find a nice bar with people a lot of the time. And they're all really welcoming and friendly.
Can I underscore that before you move on? The pedestrian lifestyle here. So from Vegas, we either drive or we're like, being shuffled around by a limo. Mm-hmm. But literally the pedestrian lifestyle here, like you said, well, there's a downtown drinking area where you go out with your friends. This is obviously pre-pandemic. You go out with your friends and you go to a bar somewhere and then you go, let's just go to this other bar that everybody always goes to. You just walk there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And on the way, you find like 10 other people that you kind of snowball together, become a bigger group and everybody's just like drinking and hanging out. It's great.
And it's late as well, Kagoshima. Like Tokyo, you go out drinking. And it's like last train. Everybody's checking the time for the last train because it's so expensive to go across the city, right, in a taxi or whatever.
What are you talking about? They start off at like 300 yen, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're so cheap, right?
Yeah. And then skyrocket.
Yeah, like the curve on them is like this.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good thing about here is even if you go drinking, a taxi for me to go home is like 3,000 yen. And that's pretty far.
Yeah, you do live on the moon. Like the other day when we were going to your house for Christmas, I was just like, we're still in the taxi cab, and I was just like, are we still in Kagoshima?
Yeah.
But
City boy.
but you're right though. Like it's late one. Like Tokyo closes at 1 a.m. Osaka will close in the morning. Guys, if you ever get a chance to go to Osaka, there's something you should do. Go to the dancing clubs and just like drink until 6 o'clock in the morning when the ramen place is open for people going home in the morning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they are specifically open for your drunk ass to stand up and eat ramen right before you mosey on home drunk. That's the best in Osaka.
And also the water content in the ramen's a bit hydrating, isn't it? A bit of salt in there as well.
The electrolytes.
Yeah, you need that.
So in Kagoshima, and other places in Japan, they usually close down pretty early. But in Kagoshima, there's a drinking culture here that's like really, really embedded in the soul of people here. So people drink until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So
I mean, food-wise as well.
yeah,
Food's really good.
It's cheap as fuck, man.
Yeah, it's cheap. Yeah, it's so cheap.
You can get blitzed and have a 7-course meal for $35.
Yeah.
And there's no tip. That's the other thing. There's no tip in Japan, guys. You tip them and going, good job, everybody.
Not much of a seating charge either, actually, really.
Only if you go to a bar, right?
Yeah.
Not in izakaya. If you get a course, you get nomi hodai.
All you can drink, man. Yeah.
All you can drink. It's a challenge. 2 hours.
They wouldn't have this in England because
They wouldn't have this in Vegas.
people would be dying. You know what I mean, on the street. My dad came to Kagoshima and he did like nomi hodai with us, and he was like, "Is it really all you can drink?"
And you're
he
like,
was
yes.
Yeah, and he just downed a pint of beer like that, and he went one more to the person. They stopped coming to the table.
You know how in Western countries you have unlimited data on your phone, but it's not really unlimited. It's like it actually has a limit.
Yeah.
Nomi hodai is actually all you can drink. As long as you can get the attention of the waiter or the waitress to keep bringing you drinks, you can just keep drinking.
But they will start to move away from you eventually and not come. I mean, I had a friend of mine who came over here from England, and he was like, I'll have a vodka, please. And they were like, okay, do you want a big one or a small one? He goes, I'll have a pint of vodka.
I'll have a...
They actually poured it out. He didn't drink it, but...
So what they've started doing now in some of the izakayas here is they give you a 1 liter, like this is called joki, right? What is this, like a beer... Stein mug, whatever this is called. So they'll give you 1 liter of beer because they don't want to be bothered to come back to your fucking table. So here's your liter of beer, sir. And then when we went to this other place called Miracle Chicken Wings, Kiseki no Tebasaki, that place gives you a pitcher of beer. The pour spout pitcher, you just drink directly from it.
Straight out of that, yeah.
It's amazing.
What else is good, man? I like onsen. I do like onsen.
Can you explain what onsen is for those who don't
Onsen's
know?
a hot spring, natural hot spring bath. So there's loads in Kagoshima because of the underground magma.
Yeah.
Obviously a volcanic area.
The seismic activity and all that here.
So that's really nice if you like to go and chill out with naked old men, which is one of my hobbies.
Honestly, what's better than chilling out with naked old men?
And then what else have we got? Nature.
Nature. We've got excellent like marine sports and hiking and everything. We've got also islands here that you can go to that are just a hop skip away, and like every island is completely different. If you guys have seen the Ghibli movie Princess Mononoke, the setting of that movie is actually set on an island here called Yakushima, which you can ferry there in about an hour on the hydrofoil.
It's a bit more than that. It's about an hour and 40.
I think it's on the hydrofoil. It's only about an hour.
No, it's more.
But it's around under 2 hours.
You can fly in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you can take a big ferry there even slower, but you can take a car. And then once you get there, it's literally like Princess Mononoke. But to continue, like we have Yakushima, which is like Princess Mononoke forest. And it's just absolutely stunning. You go there, they say that the air is like magical, right?
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, I mean, there's deers, monkeys running around.
Yakushima
in the middle of the
monkeys,
road,
right?
Horrible things. Don't go close to them.
Horrible things.
They like seriously.
Is there an animal that you like?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Don't like
Oscar.
cats.
You like your dog?
I
Oscar.
like my dog Oscar, but yeah. Monkeys, they look cute from a distance, but if you go close to them, it's all fangs and tearing your face off. So
is that how that works?
Yeah, just don't go close to the monkeys. But Yakushima's lovely, man. It's a great hike as well through the mossy forests. I mean, it's just amazing.
Like I can't explain to you guys how green and beautiful Yakushima is. Yeah. It's just so amazing. And then
you got to see it, man.
And then you get on another plane, you go to Amami Yoshima. It's like almost tropical there. It's subtropical, I think, technically, but it's like emerald beaches and just amazing.
Yeah, beautiful white sand.
And then you go a little bit south, further south, and you go to Yoron, Yoronto.
Yeah.
And like that's oh my god, they have the beach that goes out for kilometers. That's very very shallow water.
Yurigahama.
Right.
Yeah,
So when the tide comes in, it gets all blue or green, and then when the tide goes out, it's like the waves in the sand.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Sandbar type thing going on.
Yeah. So anyway, to answer the question, fucking Kagoshima is great.
Actually, there's loads of islands I've never been to.
There's a couple that blow up every now and then. They're volcanoes. So they
Iwo and stuff
haven't
like
been
that.
there.
Yeah, but there's a load of other tiny little ones closer to the mainland, which I've never even been to.
I want to go to Kaijima.
Yeah.
Next to Amami Yoshima, just because I have a friend who's from there, and she said that they put a traffic light on the island just so the people can learn how to use a traffic light.
Seriously?
Yeah.
There's only one road, isn't there?
Only one loop around the island, and there's a traffic light on it for no reason other than to teach people how to stop.
What it is, right?
And then the other thing that I really, really want to do is the bus. The bus apparently has no stops, so you just stop wherever you want.
You just go, here's good.
Yeah, you tell the driver like, here, and they're like, okay, and you get off and they continue on their donut around the island.
I would like to go to Mishimamura. Do you know where that is?
No.
It's quite close to Kagoshima. It's one of the closer islands, but the sea around it's all yellow.
What?
It's actually yellow because of the sulfur in the water from the volcano. Yeah, and you can actually climb to the top of the volcano if you wear a gas mask because of the poisonous gases coming out of it.
Oh, this is definitely what I want to
do a hike into it. I'd really want to do that for some reason. I don't know why.
Let's just talk a little bit about the volcanoes in this region. Probably if you guys are watching, as you might know about Abroad in Japan, Chris Broad. Mm-hmm. We met him, a couple of times, and really good guy. He made this song that topped like the Billboard charts. It's called Too Much Volcano.
Yeah.
And it's because specifically he came to Kyushu.
Yeah.
And he was just like, there's too many volcanoes here.
Yeah. And Natsuki, his friend, his surname is Aso, apparently, right?
Not a question, but a Reddit comment from Lady EF says, I've seen the onsen monkeys, and let's just say they also pleasure themselves.
Oh my God.
So I think what she's talking about is Hokkaido, where they have like the snow monkeys in the onsen water.
It's not Hokkaido. I think it's Akita.
Maybe it's Akita, but it's north. It's way north of where we are.
Yeah.
And
I mean, instead of that, you just have to pleasure yourself.
In front of them, challenge them, stare them right in the eye as well.
And maybe they'll come in and join you. It's possible.
So we used to do live episodes of the podcast, but every time we did that, like Alex felt it was like a challenge to be vulgar. and then he would tell me like after we'd finished the show, he's like, I feel like it's like I have Tourette's. Like every time we go live, I just like
I can't help myself. Yeah, there's no filter.
There's no filter, which is fine because we're on Reddit right now, so Reddit's no filter.
Well, this is ephemeral. It's not going to last, is it? So it's all good.
Josh, if you have new questions, just put up your hand and like we'll continue. Okay,
all right,
Josh.
go ahead.
Another one from our Patreon. If you could change one thing about Japan, what would it be?
I'd make them speak English. Like I'm just being a jerk, but I'm just saying like the only thing that I don't like about Japan is when I'm dealing with. So I'm a double business. I have two businesses. So I'm a business owner. Whenever I'm doing something and I want to like explain a really complicated thing in Japanese, I always feel like I'm limited by my language skills. It's my problem. It's not Japan's problem. But
no, there is a lot of that. I mean, even if you speak Japanese really well, there's still like a big cultural divide. Getting exactly what you want to say across takes a lot more effort than it should do.
So yeah, this is just for those tuning in. I've been here for well over a decade, almost 15 years. You've been here for over 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's like we both speak the language. We're ingrained in the culture. You do martial arts and you work for an 850-year-old company. But yeah, sometimes the nuance is just like you screw up.
Yeah, no, it's very, very hard to get what you want to say across in business context as well, especially. But yeah, I'd probably change, I don't know, work culture a little bit, make it a bit more open.
You're like the freest person at your 800,000-year-old company.
Not me, everybody else. Like, no, in a good way,
Okay.
Just to give people a bit more empowerment to be able to do what they want to do or try things out. Because at the moment, it's very top down. So if you want to try something new, you've got to get permission.
Yeah.
And if there's no previous example of that thing working, it's very, very hard to
risk
get people
adverse culture.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
And that kind of makes sense considering, you've got typhoons, you've got volcanoes, earthquakes.
I would say more than that. It's the apprenticeship model where, you have your master who teaches a skill to the apprentice and they continuously hone in and get better and better and better at their skill. And then eventually they get to the master level where they don't make mistakes anymore. It's kind of ingrained in the culture, right?
It's true, yeah.
Whereas Silicon Valley or maybe other parts of the West is like move fast and break things.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you screw up, who cares? It's not the end of the world. Iterate and do it again.
There's some things where that works at the Japanese model where you're going through...
Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that in the airline industry.
If you're going through like, a hobby or something like that or a process where you want to perfect things over a long time, it works. But if it's like a job where you've got to get your results quickly, it's not so effective. So I'd probably change that culture a little bit if I was able to change Japan.
From Mike's big time staff, are
Mike's
you guys
big time staff?
Hello.
Wait, is that staff like employees or like staff like he's like we need to know something about Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Both.
Are you guys in Japan, or did you buy a Japanese snack box?
Ooh,
We're in Japan.
We're in Japan.
Literally in Japan. What time is it right now? It is 9:58 p.m. Japanese Standard Time.
Where in Japan are you?
Kagoshima, south of south.
The south of Kyushu.
So I always okay, tell me if I'm right on this. I always tell my friends when they're like, so where in Japan do you live? I'm like, think about Texas, but the Japanese Texas. Is that wrong?
That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But I don't know anything about Texas either. So I just tell people Tokyo,
Yeah.
not there. And not Hokkaido, so the other side.
So when the big Tohoku earthquake happened in when was that? 2013, was it? 2000 March 11th, okay? So when they had that big earthquake, all of my friends were like calling me up to like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm like worlds away from Tokyo, like
long way.
completely unaffected." We had a little bit of a tsunami here from that, and it was literally I think 50 centimeters.
I mean, Japan's bigger than people imagine, right?
It's long.
Yeah, it's long. It's twice the size of the UK,
Is it in
Pretty much.
area or in length?
area.
Isn't the UK at the same latitude as Hokkaido?
It is, yeah.
So weird.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's not cold.
No.
Not, well, comparatively.
Well, your attitude is cold till
Yeah.
people. You're not very friendly.
Oh, shut up. I am quite friendly.
So a little factoid about Alex over here. He does a martial art called Jigenryu, which is actually I'm gonna let you touch that. You explain that. I don't want to get beat up for doing this wrong.
It's a traditional Japanese
Swordsmanship.
style of swordsmanship. It's like 400 years old.
You actually did an exhibition in front of the Crown Prince.
Yeah, now the present emperor, yeah.
Yeah.
So there was like this thing called Kokubunsai in Kagoshima. Kokumin Bunkasai, which is like a people's culture festival, basically. It's once a year in a different prefecture each year. And the year it came to Kagoshima, we did Jigenryu for the emperor, or then the crown prince.
So wait. So can I ask you a question? So when you do this, like I'm thinking like all the weeaboos on like 4chan and stuff like that are just looking at you like, he's living the dream.
Not really. Not really.
Is that like the response?
I don't think that's their dream. It's a different dream they've got.
Depends on what part of 4chan you go to.
Funny thing is, when the crown prince came, you're not supposed to look down on him when he arrives. So everybody on the second floor of the building had to go to the first floor. And the second floor was all taken over by security. Because obviously it's an angle for snipers or whatever or something like that.
Yeah.
So from a security perspective. And the security team are like these scary looking dudes with like black suits on.
Can you just say Yakuza? Are they Yakuza?
Sunglasses. No, they're not Yakuza. They're like police, but they've all armed, obviously. And they've got their own little room to chill out in. And you see, the day before, we had to do a rehearsal. And the day before, that room was used for coffee for people rehearsing. So you could go and have a coffee there.
Yeah.
And on the day, I just assumed that the coffee would still be there. So I walked in.
So your goal was coffee.
Yeah.
But
So I walked in, and there was a room full of security staff. And as soon as I walked in the room in my kimono and everything like that, hands went to ears like this. And they all stood up with, their arms going into the jackets and shit like that.
so they're going for their weapons.
Yeah. And then this guy walks up to me and pushes me in the chest out of the door.
Okay.
And then shouts at me in Japanese in the corridor, like, "Get out of here, what are you doing here?" Or something
At what point did you unsheathe your sword and like battle him to the death?
No, that would have been death, immediate death. So I went outside and I was like, "Oh shit, what have I done?" And then this other guy came out and brought me a coffee in a paper cup, and he just goes, "There you go."
How have I known?
So weird.
I've known you for the closer to a decade. I've never heard this fucking story before.
No, I shit myself.
Oh my god, that's amazing! I would be telling that at every drinks party.
So yeah, the security of the imperial household is quite stringent.
Didn't they rent out the entire hotel on the mountain here when the emperor came?
I don't know if it's the whole
It was
one.
even the emperor. It was like the emperor's son or something.
Yeah, the crown, but I think it was the top 2 floors or something like that.
Yeah, they don't fuck around, guys. They do not screw around. Wasn't one of your friends arrested for like the skinny dipping in like the Imperial Lake or something?
That wasn't my friend. That was not my friend. That was just some dude It was on the news a couple of years
But it
ago.
looked like your friend, right?
He looked a bit like a friend of mine. So I emailed a photo of it to my friend, and he was really angry at me after that. But
Oh, so it wasn't him, probably.
it definitely wasn't him.
Okay. All right, Josh. Sorry.
We have a question that says, what's your favorite country to travel to? But keep it on the topic of Japan. I'll also ask, where is your favorite prefecture to travel to?
Oh.
All right. Well, Alex, you can take that.
Favorite prefecture? I don't know. I travel a lot for work, so I go to lots of places. I like Shikoku. Recently, I'm into Shikoku a lot. So Kochi Prefecture is nice. Tokushima as well, I like. Some cool people down there. It's a bit like off the beaten track, so it's really in the country. But just the people are really nice, and there's like a strong kind of Buddhist culture there because of the Ohenro, the pilgrimage route. So yeah, I'm really into Shikoku at the moment. And as far as other countries are concerned, I don't know, man. Like Europe, I like a lot. I'd love to go to Morocco. Never been there.
So, okay, sorry, Alex. When you travel, because your industry is travel, okay.
Yeah.
What do you look for? So I'm from Vegas, right? What I want cheap booze, fun and entertainment, and like I want to get like just smash and have a great time.
Well, travel's been ruined for me forever because
Why?
I work in travel. So every time you go on a trip somewhere, you're looking at because basically I'm in the attractions business. You're looking at how many people work on the entranceway, entrance prices, parking spaces, signage. That's everything I'm looking at all the time. So I can't really enjoy a trip anywhere anymore.
So it's like, so for you, you're analyzing the quality of the product the entire
experience,
time.
yeah.
Oh God,
how good is the experience?
Yeah.
But I suppose I like city breaks, and going to bars in the evening. I like nightlife a lot, so I like going to little dive bars and things like that and meeting local people. I've always enjoyed doing that. I mean, once I went to New York and I was with my ex-girlfriend. It was a long time ago, and she didn't want to.
Ex-girlfriend, you're married, man. Don't talk about that. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
She was, what's it called? She didn't want to go out.
Hot? Was she hot?
Yeah, she's hot, man. Yeah.
Yeah, she's hot, man.
She was jet lagged, so she didn't want to go out. So I went out on my own.
Okay.
And I heard that in New York, if you find people smoking outside,
Yeah.
it's
That means
probably
they're
a good bar.
Oh.
If there's no sign or anything like that.
Oh, you mean like it's like a private
Like
kind
a
of
private
secret
little place or something
Okay.
like that. And I
can see
found
that.
one
No.
in Brooklyn, maybe? I don't know, man. I don't really know New York.
I just
very well.
can't see you doing well in New York, but continue.
No, it's fun, man.
Okay.
And I went in there and made some friends. Went out drinking. Got back about 3 a.m. shit-faced. Went into the room, but I'd forgot that we'd moved the room because it kind of smelled a bit of something wrong with it. And
Okay.
where the toilet was before, now my suitcase was placed. So I unfortunately unloaded in my suitcase.
When you say unloaded, there's different areas of unloading.
It was a number one, urine.
It was a number urine.
Number one, yeah. Is that a number one or a number two? I don't know.
In Japan, if you're peeing, it's sho, as in small.
Yeah.
And if you're pooping, it's dai, as in big.
It was a show, yeah, unfortunately. So that relationship didn't last.
Dude, I actually have, this has, sorry, nothing to do with Japan, but like, I went to visit a friend, let's just call her a friend, and in America, and like, I got shit fucking faced. And we went back to her apartment, and like, I don't remember anything, but like, I got up to go pee in what I thought was a toilet, but it was her closet. And she goes, Mitch, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm peeing in the toilet. Shut up. And she's like, that's not the toilet. And she apparently came over to me and just pinched the hose for me.
Oh my gosh.
And walked me over to the toilet and then like let it go.
That's very kind, though.
Yeah, she was very good. She's an awesome person.
Thrown something at you.
Awesome person. Well, she didn't want me to pee in her closet.
Where would you like to go on holiday?
In Japan, I actually want to go to I can't remember the name of it. The Nantakashima Gun. What's it? The
Gunkanjima?
Gunkanjima. The fucking
In Hiroshima, right?
Yeah. The crazy. If you guys don't know about this, it's like it used to be like the largest populated, densely populated island in the area in the world before World War II. It's like a coal mine or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like an island, and they have like layers upon layers of like all of these abandoned buildings and everything above the coal mines. It's actually completely dangerous to go there. But you can charter some people who will go and like tour you around that area. But I totally want to check that out.
I'd like to go there. I've never been, actually. And it was in Bond as well, one of the Bond
It's
movies.
super post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Because they used to have like all the families of the miners and everything there, and like these incredibly high quality community centers and everything.
Yeah.
And then they like it ran out of coal, and they're just like, fuck this place, and just left.
Left it, yeah. No, I'd like to go there, actually. Never
Yeah,
been.
it's kind of like when you see like video of like old, like really used to be immaculate buildings in Detroit that have just just like left to waste. It's the same thing, but on a tiny little island that could be the set of a zombie apocalypse.
Kind of like this place. A little bit.
So let's talk about where we are. We're in Alex's studio, and it's a building that honestly is probably going to fall over or fall
Not
down.
going to fall over. It's
It's
fine.
1,000 years old, and the rent is like $400 a month per unit, but you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
So you spent thousands like designing the interior and buying a stupid print.
Shut up.
And
It's
how
art.
much does your lights cost? Your smart lights?
Oh, I don't know. Too much.
But it's actually a really cool place. And this is Alex does two jobs. He's one again. He's the PR tanto tenantino. The boss of PR at especially foreign PR at Shimazu, which is like a million-year-old company. It's going to keep getting like bigger with the number. So he's actually the first person. He's actually one of the first foreigners who ever been hired by the company.
Yeah, the first, yeah.
And you got a not only did it become a World Heritage Site, you also got them a, what was the award that you got? Your
International Travel and Tourism Award.
yeah,
in
you went.
London.
You went to London and you were presented with an award for your company, which is really cool.
No, I've been all over the place.
You had a
hasn't it?
snobbish fucking like face the entire time. You're getting your big ass award.
Oh, shut up. It was a good photo, that.
Yeah, it was
Professional
really good
photographer.
photo. Put that
It was
on your
good because all
LinkedIn.
these other people were there, like media people, and they were taking, video of it to shoot and put on their website or whatever. And they came around to my interview. And it's not like this. I'm very professional, when I'm doing that kind of thing.
I'm very professional.
Yeah. And
Says Alex.
the guy goes, "Oh, I'm glad somebody with some media training's finally turned up." So,
It's rare to find people with media training these days.
yeah.
So we should fully disclosure. Alex used to be on television. I used to be on television. So we were like, at least in Japan, we've been trained to speak in front of a camera.
Yeah. In Japanese as well.
In Japanese, which, by the way, let's talk about that for a second. So they give you a fucking script, right?
Yeah.
And they're not printed on so in like Western countries, you usually get a like letter size or like A4 size. In Japan, the scripts are always on fucking A3 or A2 size pieces of paper.
Yeah.
So they're like kites in the wind as you're trying to like decipher what the fuck is written on them. And then you have to memorize. Well, in your case, you had to memorize everything.
I had to memorize it all, yeah.
In my case, it had a lot of because in the beginning, my directors were like, say these words. I'm like, I'm going to say what I want to say.
Yeah.
So after a while, my scripts were just like hitokoto, which means like say something, like one comment.
One word from Mitch. Right?
Yeah. So I was a lot easier, but
My one was like a prefectural program.
Yeah.
So basically, it was checked by local government people, and the script was decided down to the word, right, down to the letter, and basically I had to memorize that.
Can you tell them what you did
is.
on Ken Nabi? What did you do?
So I was a roving reporter who went around different parts of the prefecture looking at government initiatives and talking about local politics, basically. Mm-hmm. So it's a bloody nightmare.
It was super boring, right?
So they were going, you had to remember words like Chisan, what is it? Chisan Chisho Suishin Shitsu.
I don't even know what that means. What does it mean?
It's like what is it? Self-sustainable
Oh God, no.
office or something like that.
Who cares?
Sustainability office or something. But even just saying that word for most Japanese people is hard. So
I had to remember words like Saidai Fusoku, which means maximum wind speed. But I actually fucked it up and I said Saidai Fuzoku, which means maximum prostitute.
Yeah. Which is a good thing to know. You know what I mean? If you're in Japan.
But your TV show was boring as fuck and nobody watched it. My TV show was actually super fun. Basically, the crux of it was white boy Mitch plus Japan. Let's make him do something uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The entire time.
No, I did a lot of shokuripo, which is like eating.
Yeah,
and
that's so
commenting.
hard.
That's really hard.
Because you not only have to eat the piping hot food, then you have to make immediate comment on it. Josh is raising his hand.
Yeah.
And he literally did this. This is the super Japanese way
I didn't do that.
of raising your hand, covering your armpit. Okay,
Go on.
What?
From Lady F or EF, how long did you study Japanese to become proficient?
Are we proficient?
I don't know.
I got corrected the other day, and somebody told me that a word that I was saying is not a word, but I looked it up. It is a word.
What were you saying?
I don't want to talk about it. It's kind of no sakunen. You know how you're supposed to say kyonen.
Yeah.
I can't really say that word well, so I say sakunen instead, which is a completely legitimate word.
But that's written.
Right,
Yeah?
but you can say it, and no one gives me shit about it, except for the other day I got shit about it. I was like, fuck.
So I always said, what did I always say now?
Saidai Fuzoku?
No. There was another word I always used that was wrong, and I still say it now for some reason. Instead of konomae, I always say something else. I can't remember.
So one of them that's really hard is like これからよろしくお願いします。今からよろしくお願いします。It means, so this is kind of like very like detailed, but like one means like これから means from now onward, and then 今から means from now onward.
Yeah.
But they mean two different things, and it's like the using the two things differently is kind of difficult.
So I always trying to say the other day I did something.
こないだ.
So I always say instead of こないだ or この前 something like that. I always say 先日.
でも senjitsu means like the previous time kind of thing.
Yeah, but senjitsu is written Japanese. You wouldn't say it in conversation.
Oh, right. But you'd still say senjitsu is also like, yeah. They would like a television show, they would say that.
So, yeah, they might say it on TV.
Yeah.
But in normal conversation, you say it and people go like, But because it's not 100% wrong, nobody corrects you. And those habits kind of stick with you. But, I mean, it took me about, 6 years to get...
5 years, right? Because you were in ALT for 5 years and you were working hard at your job.
Hell yeah. Conversationally fluent, 5 maybe. But that's like daily conversation. And then I ran my own business after that.
You answered the phone, which I'm sorry, I hire people.
Yeah. Answering the phone's hard.
Okay, so the difference between me and Alex here. Alex came to Japan and learned Japanese.
Yeah.
I was learning Japanese well before because my mom's Japanese. But the difference is I never had the vigor of learning Japanese that he has. So he came here and he's like, it's my goal to learn Japanese. So his learning curve was like this.
No, but I don't like the language. No, it's not I dislike it.
I don't like the language.
It's a pain in the ass.
Fuck you, Japanese.
It's for necessity. I need it. That's why I do it. It's not because I love the phraseology and tone of Japanese.
There's a point where there's a diminishing return, right?
That's true.
Once you get fluent enough that you can explain yourself and do the things that you need to do, anything above that is just you hire a Japanese person to do it.
But if you're on the phone, like in a small business, right? I didn't have the means to employ people at that time, so I'd answer. I'd be like moshi moshi, and they'd be like ka-cha, hang up on me straight away.
The fuck is this foreign person?
Like, what's this? This isn't a business. So, just practicing those lines over and over again. Like, arigatou gozaimasu. Bradshaw English good de gozaimasu.
So that's what I was trying to say is that Bradshaw, Mr. Alex Bradshaw, his learning curve was literally like an exponential function. It was like this. Whereas mine was like very like slow burn and just like this. And then eventually I just got bored.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't remember when it was, but it was like a couple of years ago or something like that. I was like, fuck it. I don't want to learn any more Japanese.
Well, I did that Nikyu, or is it?
Well, second level JLPT.
It's called N2 now or something, right?
N2, JLPT.
I did that. I didn't study for it. I just took it to see what it was like, and I passed it. And then I've never bothered to do the N1 because I can't be asked.
If you want to get into translation or if you want to work at a Japanese corporation, getting N1 is totally good. Do it. Like the JLPT, the Japanese language proficiency test.
Or if you like doing it. If you want to do it, it's cool.
For me, it was more like honestly, I just hire people to do the Japanese stuff for me. And then my everyday life, like hanging out with my friends and speaking in Japanese is never a problem.
Well, one thing I would say at the end is... like you said, it's diminishing returns, right? Because even if you get super good at Japanese, amazingly good, you're still going to be just as good as a shit Japanese person.
You said this once to me, and it makes so much sense. Like, even if you're really, really good at Japanese, you're still kind of a retard in Japanese.
Unless you're Robert Campbell or,
what's his name?
Someone like that, who's just so good that they're actually better than most Japanese people.
What's that dude who's always on TV on the news?
Dave Spector.
Dave Spector.
He's not that good, though.
He's good.
He's good, but he's not
good.
But Robert Campbell's another league, man.
Yeah, well...
that guy's just nuts.
So we got a hand up. Okay.
From Wait, This Sucks.
Wait, This Sucks.
Do you guys watch any anime?
I'll let Alex take that because he has only positive things to say about this.
No, never. No, shit. When I was a kid at school, right?
When I was a kid at school, right?
No, shit, right. There was a tape going around. This is how old I am. Like, there was a VHS tape going around. It wasn't Betamax. It was VHS.
It wasn't Betamax.
There was a VHS tape going around of Hokuto no Ken, which is like Fist of the North Star.
Oh, Fist of the North Star.
Do you know it?
No. Sounds sexual. Let's keep going.
But anyway, it was supposed to be this super hardcore Japanese TV show that was like just nuts, and it should have been banned. So all the kids passed it around and watched it. And I remember watching that. And then there was another one called something like, I can't remember what it's called, Urotsukodoji or something. I've forgotten the fucking name. And it was all like Nazis shooting tentacles at women's bodies and exploding them and stuff like that. It was really fucked up.
To answer your question, no, he doesn't.
So that kind of is about the only anime I ever watched, to be honest with you. I was just like, all right, that's enough for me. But then somebody actually gave me a DVD of, what was it? Hokuto no Haka, Grave of the Fireflies.
No.
Hokuto, Hotaru no Haka.
Sorry, continue. I'll think of the name.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
It's Hotaru no Haka, right?
Hotaru no Haka.
Yeah.
Hotaru no
What did I
Haka.
say? Hokuto. Anyway.
Hotaru no Haka. Yeah,
Hotaru no Haka. Anyway, I watched that and I was like, oh shit. Like, I actually fucking cried at an anime. It's
So
like,
my youngest brother, Ken-chan, you've met him,
Yeah.
right? When he's got a different father. My father passed away and he's got a Japanese father. My mom's half Japanese. So he's like a Japanese.
he looks Japanese, right? Yeah.
When he was a baby, because my mom had to work and I had to raise him, right? He would call me Ni-chan. Ni-chan means older brother. Ni-chan, Ni-chan. And like, because like we kind of taught him Japanese from when he was young. And he looked exactly like Setsuko. The
Right.
little baby, little girl in that fucking movie. And when I watched that, the older brother, not to spoil it, passes away, and the Setsuko also passes away. Like first, the little girl does. I remember just being fucking bawling.
Yeah. But I remember there was a two-sided...
What was it? Wait, what was the line? Wait. Ni-chan doropusu nanka.
She had like some sweet candy or something. Like
So they had,
right?
they had, back in the wartime, they had this, you can still buy it now. It's like in a tin, and they're like gummies, basically, they're hard candies. They're flavored hard candies called drops. And they would be in the little can. And then in the movie, like, oh God, this is really sad. Why are we talking about this? The older brother would put rocks in the tent. Fucking Josh is doing this and like swirl water around and give it to the little girl. It's like, oh man, it's really sad. That's fucking. If you guys have never seen Grave of the Fireflies, you want to be moved to tears by the brilliant artistry of Studio Ghibli. Watch that movie.
Yeah, and the flip side of it, because it was a double-sided DVD. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
There was Kiki's Delivery Service,
Which is the cutest thing in the world.
Mahjong no Takyubin, and that was a good movie as well, actually. So I do like Ghibli, and occasionally I'll watch stuff like Samurai Champloo because I like hip hop as well. But apart from that, not a lot really.
I would recommend Ghibli. All things Ghibli is really, really good. One animation that I don't know if you can find the English translation of it, but if you can, it's really, really good. It's called the full name is like Anohi wa bokura ga mita. Anohi bokura ga mitsuketa hana no namae wa mada shiranai, or something like that. And it shortens down to Anohana. So I have no idea what the actual the English name of it is, but Anohana is you got it?
Anohi mita hana no namae o bokutachi wa mada shiranai.
Is there an English name for it?
I think the English name is The Flower We Saw That Day.
Okay, so it's amazing. It's a TV show. I think it's like 6 or 7, 8 episodes long. That's also a tearjerker, but it's amazing because like if you watch that, you'll get to know the Japanese kind of like not super city life, not rural life, but kind of like the average Japanese person's life. I mean, obviously there's some like, ghost stuff, story in it, whatever, but watch that. It's really good. And then also Kimi no Nawa, Your Name, is good.
I never saw that actually.
It's kind of halfway through. You kind of predict the ending of it, but as an animation, the animation is really, really good.
I mean, I've got 2 kids, so like they're all into the Kimetsu no Yaiba and all
and
that
then like
kind of shit.
yokai nantuka, whatever.
And obviously Crayon Shinchan and all that kind of
Crayon
stuff. You used to watch that,
Shinchan,
right?
yeah. When I was a kid, I used to watch it. Zoul-san. Yeah, it's
So
great.
You still do that now, right?
No, I've never done that. I get arrested. Zoul-san, by the way, if you guys don't know what this is basically it's like the equivalent of The Simpsons, and the equivalent of Bart Simpson is called Crayon Shinchan, but he's a little kid, and he paints on his little penis. Here's his ball and his little penis and his ball. He paints the face of an elephant on it. And he like walks around naked. By the way, this is totally cool in Japan, apparently. He walks around naked saying Zoul-san, which is Mr. Elephant. So he'll shake his butt and like his little thing, and it's like Mr. Elephant, Mr. Elephant. This is the stuff that they watch here.
If anybody's after a Japanese girlfriend, maybe try that out. Might work. I don't know. Maybe not.
But no, there is really, really good Japanese anime. Sometimes you'll find it and you'll watch it, like Evangelion, even what's it called, Naruto, One Piece, all of those like really, really good franchises are all really good to watch.
I mean, for me, it's like it's not my thing, but it's such a rich culture though, and,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a lot of stuff that isn't really released abroad as well. Obviously, it's fan subbed and stuff like that, and there's a great community building as well. There's some really good linguists actually.
What is it? Crunchyroll, I think is guys. There's a I think North American service called Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that right? Where you guys can watch legally Japanese anime that's all been either dubbed or subtitled into English, and so you can enjoy the anime.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll. We are not affiliated with them. If you guys want to sponsor a podcast, just let us know. Yeah, it's they do a good job. They were actually featured on Linus Tech Tips.
Were they?
Yeah. They used to sponsor over there as well.
Yeah, we've done a few things with anime before, and manga.
Yeah.
So Drifters, the.
Can you explain what you did while I get another drink? Okay.
So Drifters is like anime? It's anime as well, right? And manga too. And it's about Shimazu Toyohisa, who died at the Battle of Sekigahara.
Which, if you guys don't know, in Sekigahara, it's a big mural of all the different clans fighting in the one battlefield. It's very famous. If you've all seen it.
So basically, Toyohisa slipped into an alternate dimension then and went on to fight, different kind of bad guys or whatever.
This is not historical. This is in Drifters.
In Drifters, right?
I mean, it could have been historical. Who knows?
So because Toyohisa is part of the Shimazu family, the Drifters people came down and did like a tenjikai. So they've got the Genga, the original artwork, and displayed it in the house where, the Shimazu family used to live. And we also did a demonstration of martial arts that featured in Drifters too. And then we did a live stream of it.
We did, but you were part of the demonstration, and I gotta tell you, I'm not trying to be stupid, but I didn't understand the rules of your guys' demonstration.
Right.
So when you're like, this guy's dead, I'm like, me and Josh were like, why is that guy dead? What's going on? We didn't get it.
Well, he's not dead. It's just like kata practice. So he's losing in the kata, but he's not actually dead.
You get points. Afterwards,
No,
you go drink
there's
together. You're like, I fucked you up.
No, there's no points.
No,
nothing like that. But the Henshucho, the guy who's in charge of editing the whole of Drifters, in charge of the direction of it, basically, he came down as well, and we did some live questions and stuff with people on the web. That guy is super, super important in the world of anime.
Can we talk about how Uber Eats in Japan is needs to be better? It just really does.
I've never used it.
In Western country, I think that the food there is more suitable for a takeout and delivery service.
Japanese food is not good for delivery.
No.
Apart from ramen, maybe.
Ramen, and then a bowl, a rice bowl with something on top of it. That's basically all you get.
Thing is, in the West, we don't have those ramen delivery bikes though, right?
Oh, the shock absorbing bikes.
With the kind of thing that swings side to side for the soup.
If you guys don't know this, just think about I'm thinking testicles.
It's like a pendulum.
We went totally different directions with that one. But yeah, it's kind of same thing. It's you got the scooter, and on the back you got a crane with these shock absorbers, okay? And it has a shelf under it, and you put ramen bowls in there, and no matter what you do on the bike, the ramen bowls just kind of ante sareru. They're level the whole time.
Yeah.
And they get to your house and they're not spilled out or anything. It's amazing.
No, they thought about it, right?
They
You
did.
have to return the bowls the next day.
But you just put it downstairs outside of your apartment complex, and they just come and pick them up in the morning.
Some cat probably turns up and licks the fucking thing. And
You
then
just
they
don't like
reuse it.
cats.
I hate cats. Horrible. Yeah. But I don't know. I've never used Uber Eats. I've used Walt. And what's the other one?
Panda.
Food Panda's gone though,
It's
isn't it?
gone.
Yeah, they went broke or something, right? Or just gave up.
They were too cheap. That's why.
Yeah.
So what we have Demaicon.
Demaikan, yeah.
They have Walt, and then Uber Eats, and then they had Food Panda before, but it's gone now.
Yeah. Walt was pretty good.
Walt's not
Liked it.
bad. It's not
Yeah.
bad. I don't understand their characters. What is it called? A reindeer or
I
something?
don't care about the character. I just
Well,
care about the guy turning up. I like looking at his scooter on the app and then looking out the window here and seeing him turn up at the bottom and going, "Oi!"
So I live in a a concrete giant building. You live in a standalone home, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the difference is when the guys come to my house, I always put the option in there contactless delivery. And I even put out a little tray for them to put the fucking food on. That's on top of my air conditioning outside box thing that's right next to my
door.
No. So there's always two patterns, okay? They either knock on my fucking door, ring the doorbell, and wait for me to come to the fucking door, even though I've told them I don't want to see them. I'm not trying to be elitist here. I just don't want to. I'm usually naked. Okay.
Are you?
And then the second thing that they do is I put the fucking tray out there to put the fucking food on, right? It's a different color than everything else. It's very obvious that this is where the food should go. They'll put the fucking food on the fucking floor in front of the tray.
Why?
Because,
They don't want to dirty the tray with the food.
no, let's just be honest. If you're doing that job, You're either a university student and don't care, or you probably didn't study a lot.
Mind you, I got like a delivery here the other day because I was staying here for...
Was it a Dediheru? Can we talk about that?
It was not Dediheru. And let's not talk about it. If you know what that is, feel free to comment. Google it. The guy came and put the food outside the door.
Yeah.
And I opened it up because I heard him outside.
Yeah.
And he was doing some kind of weird Elizabethan type both-handed bow walking backwards. Like...
I feel like that's a challenge to a fight at that point.
He was going like this down the corridor. I was like, what is this?
What is that?
I don't know.
You experienced it. How did you react?
I just bowed back to him very slowly, but slightly diagonally like this. That's a shit bow. In Japanese, you're supposed to bow straight on, right? With your hands by your sides. Some people kind of bend the hips to the side like this.
It's kind of that would be truck stop.
That's
level.
truck stop level. Yeah.
But okay, so I had this guy who came and brought me something. I forgot what it was, but he brought me some food, and he was like not Japanese. He's like, I don't know, let's call him Sri Lankan or something. And he speaks English, right? And so like he brings me my food, and like I always select contact less delivery. And then he's like knocking on my door, and I open the door, and he says, "Oh, friend." This is what fucking he says to me.
Oh, friend.
And I was just like, what? And he's just like, I didn't think you were real, is what he said to me. And I didn't know what to say, so I was just like, I'm real. And like I got my food and he's like, okay, I'm so glad that we had this conversation. And he just like walked away after that. I was just like, I don't know what happened just now.
So
what's going on?
Weird. When you see people of other nationalities though, at the convenience store or whatever, it's very hard to know what language to speak to them because it's like they're coming at you in this kind of monosyllabic Japanese.
Monosyllabic Japanese.
It usually is. I'm sorry.
Guys, if you're watching this, just like open a new tab in Chrome and search for monosyllabic girl.
What's that?
It's a MXPX song. It's 1 minute long. It's amazing. Anyway, sorry, continue.
But you don't know what the default language is, right? If you go to the curry place down here, it's like, what do I say?
Dude, Sri Lankan curry, right? Amazing curry. Best fucking curry in the whole fucking city. You go there and they're like, irashaimase, but it's really bad.
They say it like this. They say it as if it's an Sri Lankan word or something. They go, irashaimase.
And you're just like,
It's like, what?
you're like, well, okay. And then some of the staff will speak to me in English.
Yeah.
And then like the menu is like is Japanese and in English. So I'm just like, which language do you prefer?
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I've just tried to speak as little as possible.
That's just the
Nod.
Brit. That's just the Brit in you.
Nod and point.
So getting back to Dediheru. So what Dediheru is it stands for delivery health.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing concept. It means like, you know, they're going to bring you health to your door.
Yes. This doesn't exist. It does exist in other countries.
It doesn't
it?
in my country. It's
It
illegal in my
does. Oh,
country.
fuck off.
Well,
It
it doesn't on the up and up. It maybe on the down low.
It
It
does.
is, and
It's not illegal, is it?
in Japan, it's totally legal.
No, in the US, it's not illegal.
It's not legal. No,
State-wise,
it
depending on the
depends.
state.
It
right?
actually depends on the county.
Right.
It's not even. It's not like federal. It's not state. It's county.
Nevada's got it, right?
Nevada, not Nevada.
Nevada.
Has Clark County, which is illegal. Prostitution is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little bit out of Las Vegas's territory to like the middle of where they film all like the apocalyptic like desert, you know, scenes and everything.
Mm.
They have this thing called the Mustang Ranch and the Chicken Ranch.
Right.
You walk in. You fucking have a menu. I've never actually done this before. I've only heard this from hearsay.
Mm-hmm.
You have a menu and you just like check the things that you want done to you. And then the girls come out and you pick the girl and then you just pay for it and then you do the thing.
Huh. What?
Dude, you're European. Amsterdam, they have like the girls in the windows.
Yeah.
They're literally in the windows.
I know, yeah.
In the red light district. They're literally like dancing around in the windows like it's some sort of object that you can acquire, which you
Yeah.
can't because they're for sale.
Yeah.
So Dediheru.
Dediheru, yeah. You need Yabe on this for.
Where's Yabe? We have a friend named Yabe. He speaks. First time I met him, what did you say?
Oh no, we can't go into this,
Yeah, we can.
can we?
Yabe, our Japanese friend, he went to international school for university, and his master's degree was studying Native Americans in America.
That's very interesting. Then.
He hung out 2 years in a tribe in America and did a master's degree on them.
Yeah.
And when I asked him why, he said, because you fucking white boys aren't welcome on the reservations, you fucking fucks. That's what he said to me.
Mind you, the first time he met you, he did say, "Oh no, not another whitey."
So the very first time, so you were drinking with him at a standing bar, and then like I show up and I'm like, "Hey guys," and this is the very first thing he says to me in perfect English. Yabe does. He's a Japanese guy. He says, oh no, not another fucking white boy. What are you going to do? Are you going to tell me you're going to blindfold me with a piece of fucking dental floss? That's the first thing this Japanese guy said to me. And I was just like, can I have a drink first? Like, I was just like, yeah, man, me and Alex, good friends, like, super good guy, salts of the earth kind of guy.
No, but
completely non-filter though on that one.
Yeah, but this kind of thing, I don't really know much about it because I'm a family man. So
I don't really know anything about like prostitution in Japan except for the facts, in which is deriheru means delivery health, and it's basically a girl who comes to your house that you pay for, and she, let's just say vaginal sex is illegal in Japan.
Wait a minute. It's not.
I mean, sorry. Paid for
with everybody.
Paid for. Sorry. Paid for vaginal sex is illegal. The definition of prostitution in Japan is vaginal sex.
Yeah.
So anything other than that is completely fucking wide open.
So it's a health.
It's a health thing. Mm-hmm. If you're Japanese, if you're foreign, none of those services. If you're a Reddit community and you're thinking about this, none of those services are available.
That's not true anymore, though. If you go to Tokyo,
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's different.
In general, like if you're foreign and you're trying to do that kind of red light stuff, it's generally not available.
When I first came here,
I thought you were going to say something else.
You'd walk through like districts of Tokyo where they've got kind of prostitution going on or whatever, and they would never come up to you and speak to you or anything like that.
You mean in their prom dresses? They wouldn't come up to you.
They used to stay away from you, right? But
wait, which ones?
The kind of Chinese massage girl types. It's mainly Chinese girls.
Yeah. In Tokyo it is, but you go to southern Japan, it's all Japanese girls.
Oh yeah. But recently they've all started coming up to the tourists.
Because
so many tourists, right?
Yeah.
So it's a money spinner. But I had a friend who, her friend came to Tokyo, and he went out and got a hand job, but it was in one of those plastic binder folder things. They put it on the hand and just jerked him off with that one.
What did you just say? Plastic binder?
Yeah, like a folder that you put like paper documents
I'm
in.
sorry, I have... you mean the... What is it called? What is that called? There's a name for that. I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? Like a clear folder.
Clear file. Clear file.
Yeah.
It's basically like a A4 size, like two-sided plastic thing that you shivvy a paper into.
Yeah. She put that on her hand and did the business. Apparently, and I was like,
and was this customer satisfied with this action?
God no! I'm surprised they didn't get a paper cut. My God! So
I've lived in Japan for 15-ish years. I've never actually partaken of any of this services stuff.
Me neither. No,
I'm from Vegas, so I know the games. I'm just like no.
Also,
according to the viewers, apparently I'm truck stop gay. So
Yeah, well,
it's not my thing. Can we talk about snacks? Not this, but like the bar.
Snack bars, yeah.
Can you give us what is in a snack bar? I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
Snack bar. It depends what kind of snack bar you're talking about, right? Not kyabakura, right?
Snack bar. Mama ga iru tokoro.
So there's usually like an older lady who owns the place or is running it, and she's behind the bar, usually in kimono or something like that. And there's, maybe 20 seats, smallish bar.
So usually it depends. Like if there's one mama, there's usually like about 15, 20. If there's do I get negative? Do I get positive? Which direction do you want to go on this one?
Well, I quite like them if you with a bunch of people.
They're my favorite.
They're fun, right?
Josh. He's saying no. Josh, Mr. Josh, can you tell us about your amazing snack experience in Okuchi?
Maybe explain more what a snack is, because you guys didn't really...
Okay.
All right, so it's like an older woman who's behind a bar, and then they serve you drinks, and you sing a bit of karaoke, and there's kind of like usually older guys who sit there and go out for a drink or whatever. It's usually nomi hodai, so you can drink. In Kagoshima, it's like shochu, maybe whiskey, beer as well. And that's it, really. Sometimes there's like younger girls who work there as well who come and sit next to you while you're drinking, so the mama-san will pour you some drinks out and everything and send over whoever she thinks will fit in well with your personality. And you're sat there, talking to each other, whatever.
There's no nudity and there's no sex. It's just drinking.
No, it's just drinking, yeah. Most Japanese shit is no sex, to be honest with you. A lot of it.
Well, you're married, so I don't know.
No. The bar scene, like the girls' bars and stuff like that, and kyabakura and all the other types of bars.
Kyabakura is a Japanese pronunciation of cabaret.
And that's basically girls in fancy dresses who come and sit next to
Prom
you.
dresses.
Prom dresses, basically.
They're going to prom every day, 6 nights a week.
And they just pour you drinks and laugh at your jokes, and that's it.
And the weirdest thing about a kabakura to me is that you go have yourself a piss, okay? And you come out of the toilet and they're fucking sitting there in front of the door with a fucking hot towel for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, here you go. And you're like, you were listening?
Yeah, I didn't want that or need it.
It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, so that's a very culturally like respected, like very respectful way of like talking about a snack. The way that I explained to Josh before we went to a snack in the countryside was a snack is a bar that was built in the 1980s.
Right.
So it is all the color scheme of the 1980s, and the mama-san has been there since the bubble era.
Right.
And her daughter, and the mama-san's divorced.
Divorced usually.
And the daughter of the mama-san is also an employee there who's also divorced.
Yeah.
And her daughter is also there as an employee. So you have 3 generations of
divorced.
women, and they get more, let's just say, alcohol influenced pregnancies as they go down the chain. And it's just kind of a crapshoot. And I explained this to Josh before we went to a fucking like countryside snack with we were there for like a media, like we were doing a location shot and everything. We went with the Japanese cameraman to the snack that Josh chose.
Right.
Because the cameraman's like, here's the snacks in this little tiny town. Which one do you want to go to? And he's like, let's go here. So we show up. So anyway, so the mama was there, and then like the older sister was there, and then the younger girl was there. She's like, how old was she? Like 20 something? You don't remember? She's like 20 something, and it's like the cameraman that was with for the mama-san. And then the older sister, I don't remember who she was. I think she was talking to everybody. And then you got the young girl who's just like fucking like locked on to Josh.
Right.
And I was just like, are you okay with this? And Josh was like, I just want to leave. I was just like, dude, Josh, like, it's your chance. You can talk. And he was just, I just want to leave. I just want to go home now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, Josh, at least comment on this. Did you enjoy your first snack experience?
No.
They are awful though, aren't they? I mean, you sit down and it's like, usually you've got to do the whole description of where you're from and all that kind of thing.
If you're foreign,
Yeah, if you're foreigner. And I started making things up as I started going along.
What do you mean?
I just said like I'm a world famous artist, or I'm like,
here's my signature. This will be worth money in the future.
They're paid to believe you, so it's like they can't really criticize it or say whatever the hell you want, right? So you might as well have some fun with it. Don't tell them the truth because it's boring.
So I actually like snacks, but not the one that me and Josh went to. Unfortunately, had
that's like kind of kabakura type vibe, right, in the countryside.
Yeah, kind of.
If you go to a proper snack bar, it's not so much like that. It's kind of a bit more
mature.
Yeah, they'll talk to you, as a person, but
so my favorite snack is like the bachan. You get like the 70, 80-year-old woman who's behind the bar. And she's lived an incredibly fruitful life. And then, you have something you want to talk about. Like maybe I have like a business problem that I have or something, right? Or like an employment problem, something like that. And I'll go to the mama-san and be like, hey, can you give me your advice on this? And as like I'm drinking, usually the older mama-sans, they drink tea or something like that. And like, had a couple beers together and you talk about it. And it's not, it's like talking to your grandma.
Well, the kind of ones in Tokyo is all a bit different, right?
Oh, let's not go into that. It depends on the region that you're in.
The more expensive ones in like Ginza and stuff like that, the girls tend to go to like top flight universities, so they're actually pretty clever.
They read 3 newspapers a day.
Yeah, they can talk, about politics,
business,
about
and
anything,
economics and whatever. Yeah,
and they're generally not that drunk as well.
No, like I said, they're drinking tea and shit.
It's their business. So, but once I went with a friend of mine. It was his birthday. And he was the same age as a Japanese friend, who's like quite a influential person, let's say, in Tokyo. And he took him out to this bar, and we went in, and we were like, "What is it? We don't really know what's going on." And he'd hired the whole place out, and everybody was in their underwear.
Sounds good.
And it was just us, just like 3 people, and they sat us down, and it was just like this full-on like normal kind of snack bar service, but everyone was in their underwear. It was so bizarre.
Was the underwear like incredibly sexy? Was it like stylish?
It was incredibly stylish, and everybody looked like a model because it wasn't a cheap place.
There's nothing wrong with any of this.
So it was quite enjoyable, to be honest with you. But, Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, let's say. Because he didn't tell us what was going to happen. He just goes, oh, let's go out for a drink.
I had a similar situation with one of my friends, like went to a snack bar with like a Japanese like CEO, and they're sitting there in the snack bar and everybody's just like enjoying their drinks, and then suddenly the lights go off. And then like a minute later, the lights go back on and all the girls are in their underwear.
Really?
And he's just like, what do I do now? What's the
protocol?
Yeah, how do I proceed? I don't know. I'm confused.
Well, it depends on where you are, right? Because some places it's like you can have a touch, right?
You can have
It depends.
touch,
Seriously.
right?
Canada, they don't give a fuck. Seriously. Yeah.
You could have a touch, right? I don't know. I've never been to
That's so good. Yeah. Canadians are incredibly loose with this, it seems.
In Canada?
Yeah.
I've never actually been to Canada. You know, it's America's hat, and I want to go one day. My
Canada's
favorite.
great, man. Love
Sorry,
it.
Josh has a hand up.
We have another question.
Okay.
How easy is it to meet people in Japan? Like if I am going to bars, izakaya, etc.
So
Wait. Can we ask the question? Are you male or female? That's actually really important.
yeah.
Well, the name is Lady EF, so I assume it's a lady.
Okay.
It depends really. What you want. It's easy to meet people and talk to them, but if you want to have a relationship or if you just want to make friends or what?
Josh, what?
Uh,
Oh, as a foreign person.
yeah, as a foreigner, added on.
I mean, if you're in the regions of Japan, in the countryside, it's much, much easier to meet people than it is in Tokyo. Because in Tokyo, foreign people are fairly commonplace.
Yeah.
So it's not so much of a rarity. But if you're in the countryside, people are kind of attracted to you because they want to find out, what your deal is and talk to you a little bit. And sometimes it's a bit irritating because they speak kind of like broken English or it's a bit uncomfortable at first. But it's more curiosity than anything else.
But
right?
you're speaking from we speak Japanese. We want to be spoken to in Japanese standpoint.
That's true.
If you're touring here, just a tourist, like if they speak to you in English, you'll be very happy about that.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the kind of person you want to meet. If you're looking for someone for a relationship or a friend, just a friend, right? It says just friends. So that's very, very easy, generally. You know what I mean? Especially like regions like Osaka. Kansai, the whole of Kansai, people are so friendly. I mean, it's like...
So to underscore what Alex is saying here, like if you go to Tokyo, okay, so unfortunately a lot of foreigners, okay, they come here and they go to Tokyo, they go to Kyoto, and then they leave. And if you want to have the least Japanese experience in your entire life, go to Tokyo and Kyoto and leave.
Yeah.
That's the worst way that you can do Japan. The best way to do Japan, of course, go to Tokyo. You have to see it. In fact, I would even recommend, it's shut down now, but before, to do the Mario Kart drive around the streets of Tokyo. That's totally fine in my book.
I would not do that.
I know. It's shut down because Nintendo sued the fuck out of them and they're dead now. But that kind of shit, do it. Go to the Robot Cafe, do all the stupid...
That's shut down as well.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it? Oh, shit.
It's gone.
But anyway, do all the stupid touristy shit. Do it, of course. But also save some time to go to the regions that don't have a lot of tourism. Go to Kansai. You say friendly. That's surprising to me because I always think of people in Kansai like, basically like Hyogo and Osaka, not so much Kyoto, as being like very close to American friendly.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll talk to people they don't know.
Yeah.
And sorry, what was your name? Lady EF? What?
Yeah.
Please go to standing bars.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Japanese word for that is tachinomiya. It's tachinomiya is called standing bar. In Japan, basically restaurants and bars and stuff like that, they're very stratified. You have like your social levels and you stick within your group and you never talk to the people around you. And so it's really, really difficult to make friends. But the one equalizing force in Japan is called the standing bar, which is what we just call a bar.
Yeah.
And so if you go to Kansai or you go to Kyushu and you go to a standing bar and you just hang out with the everyday folk and you just like talk to them, you can easily make friends. I was talking about this before on our podcast, but like somebody on the living life in Japan subreddit or whatever it's called was like, I've been living here for 15 years and I've never made a Japanese friend. I have hundreds of Japanese friends. And the reason why is because I just go to where those people hang out in an equal space.
I mean, you've got to make the effort.
Yeah.
You've got to talk to people and say, hey, how's it going? Or, hi, I'm in town, I'm lost or whatever. And it's the same anywhere in the world. I mean, like I was in Paris a couple of years ago on my own on a business trip. And I was sat in a bar having a glass of wine. And some people sat next to me, some like youngish kind of student type people or whatever. And I said, hi, how's it going? And got chatting to them. And then we went out for a drink afterwards, and and they showed me some places in Paris I would never have seen before. But I had to make the impetus of talking to them, otherwise it wouldn't have happened, right? And like Mitch was saying before, izakaya in Japan tend to be somewhere that you would go as a group. So people would go together with their friends or
6 people or whatever.
group,
you go and you sit down, you just stay insular.
And from a single person or 2 people trying to talk to somebody in a group is quite difficult. So you've got to think of ways to make that happen. Standing bars are good.
Standing bars are an excellent way.
Even just
yatai. I forgot about them.
Yatai are great as well. If you just
How
chat
would
to the
you
person next to
translate
you.
yatai?
Yatai's like a food stall.
Food stand?
Food stand or something like that. Or even, people on the street, I would probably recommend against doing that if you can, because there's a lot of touts and stuff in tourist areas.
Tout means like a...
what do you call them now?
キャッチなんていうの英語で
Boy とかね。
basically guys that like their job is like to hook you into an unsavory like bar or restaurant or something like that.
Don't
like,
talk to them.
If some boy in a shiny suit comes up to you and says, "Hey, I got this great place for you to go," ignore him and tell him to fuck off. And
if he's got bleached blonde hair and he looks a bit like him, don't listen to him.
The other thing is, and this has nothing to do with racism. This is just a fact. In Tokyo, a lot of yakuza places employ non-Japanese people to do their kind of dirty work for them and like pulling in customers to like nefarious places and shit. And so if someone who looks like they're working on the street and they're not Japanese, especially if they're non-Japanese. And they're like, hey, come on, I got this great place. Don't follow them. Because the reason why the Yakuza employ these people is because basically Japanese people need to be polite to other Japanese people. But if you're a foreigner, you can be rude. And then it's kind of like, it's just like, I don't want to get into the nuance of it, but like, trust me, if you're in Tokyo, if you're Roppongi and some dude just like walks up to you and starts asking you if you want to go somewhere, ignore them.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. But as we were talking about, like in more like Kyushu, for example, Kagoshima is amazing. Kansai is amazing. Go to Tachinomiya, standing
Fukuoka
bars.
as well.
Fukuoka is really great.
Yeah.
Fukuoka is a perfect balance of everything.
Yeah.
And if you just hang out and then like, actually Twitter as well, you can actually have a friend who came to Kagoshima and tweeted out, what is there to do in Kagoshima? He got married.
Really?
Yeah.
Serious?
You know him.
Who?
The one we were talking about earlier today, the programmer. We're not going to say his name.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
That's how he got married.
Shit, no way.
He's just like, what's there to do in Hashmark Kagoshima? And then somebody just DM'd him. It's like, I'll take you around. And then they got married.
No
2
way.
kids, happy as fuck.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you've got local contacts or someone you know in the region or, special interest, that's always good. If you're into something in particular, there's always a group that's into that in that region.
Well, I don't know about what the things that you're into.
What?
Josh has a...
Have you got a question? Go on.
Icy Enthusiasm 7937 asks, have you ever traveled on a bullet train? And if you have, how is it?
Bullet train, yeah, regularly. So go to Fukuoka on the train quite a lot. I've been as far as Osaka from Kagoshima before. And obviously in northern Japan as well, traveling around in the Shinkansen is pretty normal. Shinkansen is a bullet train, right? So the new one, Hokuriku Shinkansen, which goes from Tokyo to Kanazawa to Ishikawa Prefecture, is really nice as well. So basically, it depends. I mean, like the Kyushu one's quite new comparatively. And also the Hokuriku Shinkansen is quite new as well. So the trains are really, really nice. And even in standard class, it's quite, spacious. If you want to go like a bit higher up, you can go in the green class, which is like first class basically. So you've got a bit more space. Or you can actually book a seat as well in Shiteseki, which is like the book seat. So they've got a bit more space as well.
What are they called?
Pre-reserved or something like that.
Reserved car.
Reserved car, yeah. So yeah, Shinkansen's great. It's fast. It's lots of room. I prefer it to a plane because you can work on it. It's like a private office basically. Nobody's calling you up. Nobody's interrupting you while you're doing your shit. So.
The great thing about this, there's many things that are great about the Shinkansen. One, like it's not an airplane, so you don't have to like go out to an airport, go through fucking security.
Yeah.
Sit on the tarmac for an hour. So the Shinkansen, the bullet train, you just like go to the train station, it shows up, you get on it. It's got world-class service. They've got chargers for all of your electronics. They have a really, really, really clean and immaculate toilet.
Yeah.
You can shave, and not shower, but almost shower on it. There's smoking rooms on the train. Like and on top of that, you think when you're on a normal train, it's like gachan kochon.
Bouncing around,
That's bouncing around and shit. Shinkansen's like floating on air the entire time. Yeah. It's amazing. It
is really, really good. I mean, time-wise, they come to the minute, never late.
Never, yeah.
The only downside really is the ticketing. Like they still use a lot of paper tickets.
Yeah.
Which is just bullshit. I don't know why they do that.
Well, Japan loves their paper and faxes.
The operation side of it is amazing. And actually, I've been on the Grand class, which is the highest class Shinkansen there is in Japan.
Let's just brag.
And yeah, I recommend it. It's good. Free booze all the way along, sake.
It is really an amazing experience. Like one time, like I was going to a television location, like after drinking incredible stupid amounts in Osaka, and I got on the Shinkansen for 4 hours to get to my location shot, right? And like I got myself not a shower, but I got a shit, I got a fucking shave. And I looked perfect when I got off the you get lunch as well. They give you bento. The bento lady comes and everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Sorry, Josh, go.
Do Japanese really always work like 24 hours a day? Because I've heard it somewhere from IC Enthusiasm 7937.
So
I'll let you take this one because I don't work for a Japanese company.
Yes and no. It depends on who you work for. Recently, like, there's been a big shift in the way of thinking in Japan. People are trying to work less and work more efficiently. Get home earlier.
Can you go over karoshi as well? Karoshi, sorry.
So there's a culture of overwork. So people work so hard that they kind of kill themselves, or through exhaustion or depression or whatever, and suicide and things like that. There was a culture of that, and that's slowly disappearing. The kind of younger generation don't really want to work like they've seen the parents do.
Why do they work like that? I mean, it's not just like, oh, let's just work ourselves to death. It's not like there's a reason for it.
It's giri, which is like a sense of responsibility or
I disagree
debt.
with you.
Really?
The giri is also okay. So if you guys don't know what giri is, like responsibility, debt, like. Yeah, I guess that's the English.
And peer pressure as well. Japan's a peer pressure society.
But it's also the shrinking population and things to do, but not the people to cover it.
No, it's not true. No.
Why don't you do? So why don't you agree with that?
Because there's a lot of inefficiency at work. That's why. There's a lot of.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
There are many, many jobs that are created just to create jobs.
You mean the guy on the highway that waves his baton, his flashlight baton like this?
Precisely. Yeah.
He's just doing this. I'm like, why is my taxes paying for this guy?
Yeah. But again, I mean, that's employment though for somebody. And at the end of the day, it's making the economy go around. So, is it something you really should criticize? I don't know, it's a pointless job, but at least he's getting out of bed every day to go and do something.
Well, the thing is like, you're not wrong that people should have jobs, but the thing is like
in Japan, right? If you work in a convenience store or whatever, people are not going to look down on you.
Oh, We're going off topic. That is totally true. Let's just go off on this. Okay, so we'll come back to the work to death culture. Come talk about this. This is something the West needs to learn from Japan.
Because a job is a fucking job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People do a job. You're respected for doing your job.
Yeah.
You're fulfilling the criteria that have been set out for you to complete. And that deserves respect.
Yeah.
That's the thinking in Japan.
And you work at McDonald's, it's actually, not gonna lie, kind of a coveted position to work at McDonald's. The girls, mostly girls who work at McDonald's, fucking work their asses off.
They work really hard.
The cast members at Tokyo Disney Sea and Tokyo Disneyland, they fucking work their asses off. They are fucking professional and they're really, really good at the job. And everyone has pride in their own job, and people respect them for doing that.
See, the problem is that this kind of pride for work and motivation to do it has kind of filtered off into inefficiency.
Yeah, okay. Well,
that's the problem,
okay.
Right?
Alex, let's stay on focus. No matter what your job is in Japan, no one looks down on you. You see
That's
these.
true,
You go to fucking /r/public freakout, and you see endless amounts of fast food restaurants and the customers just treating the fucking employees like absolute garbage, looking down on them.
Yeah.
That in general does not happen here.
Oh no, I've never seen it.
You know the workers make you food and you're like, itadakimasu, arigatou gozaimasu. You're just like very, very like humbled by that experience. And I think that that's something that the West really needs to adopt.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. You've got to value the people that work for you and also the work that other people do too. But you know, there is a downside in that people feel, you know, then trapped by their jobs and they need to, fulfill that responsibility right to the letter, and that's why they stay behind.
That's a little different, but I really just want to underscore, Alex, and like I think everybody at home, like, you know, in Reddit, like, can really appreciate this. It's just that the respect for everyone here. I mean, dude, you get in an elevator, you get the elevator lady. I don't know why they're called that. They wear Mickey Mouse gloves.
Do
and
they have those anymore? I've not seen them
They
recently.
do in Tokyo.
Really?
They still have them, yeah. And so all they do is they press the buttons for you on the elevator, right? But even then, everyone's just like, oh, thank you so much. Like, obviously, I can press my own elevator buttons.
Yeah.
But you're just so respectful to them. It's always just like gratitude. And like, that's something I think the West really needs to learn. Like, you shouldn't look down on someone because I used to have an English teacher in junior high school. If you got an F on something, the way, like, and you had to tell your test score as she'd go around the room, like, okay, what was your score on the test? Because you'd grade it as a group. If you got an F, you couldn't say F. You had to say, do you want fries with that? That was the way that you said that you got an F on your test.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that not only makes fun of people who are struggling with the thing that you're trying to learn, but also shits on, you know, essential employees who are doing a good job for the, you know, why shit on somebody for doing a job?
Yeah, precisely.
And this is why in the West right now, it's the great, what is it called? The great quitting or something like that?
Oh yeah, it's happening, right?
Yeah, everybody's quitting their job and walking away because they're just like, fuck you guys. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And that's a human thing.
No respect. That's
no
why.
respect.
Yeah.
It's a human thing. Why would you go to work every day to get shit on when you're trying to do your best?
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't, not 100% doesn't happen here, but on the whole, it doesn't happen here.
Josh, you got a question, man?
Yeah, we have a question from Flaky Schedule.
Yeah.
Are you afraid about the future of Japan? Sometimes it feels like the other countries have caught up to Japan or are ahead in terms of innovation, reforms, etc.
Sure.
Japan feels like it's stagnating in many ways and not really wanting to change.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of what you said is true. I mean, Korea is, you know, going crazy with, tech production and stuff like that. Taiwan as well is obviously hugely important for chips and things like that in Asia. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. Other Asian countries are going to go ahead and do their own thing. And Japan's not always going to be this monolithic kind of leader as it was in the 80s and 90s. And that's a lot of the way that Western people kind of see it, I think. But, you know, at the same time, there's still a lot of traditional culture and kind of interesting stuff in Japan that, you know, doesn't exist in those countries. And I think that that's Japan's strength. And going forwards, we've got to really rethink what Japan is. And the people of Japan also kind of need to rethink what their position in the world is as well. So going from this kind of, you know, second largest economy in the world, industrial superpower to something else, maybe something a bit more authentic, something a bit smaller. The population's decreasing, and the regions of Japan as well. Villages are disappearing. People are moving to cities. Whole swathes of Japan have got abandoned houses, abandoned properties, things like that. Those things can be reutilized and really make, you know, a great, an interesting country, I think, going forwards. So actually, up until, you know, the 1800s, the late 1800s, Japan's population was really small, very, very small indeed. And the Westerners that came here during that time saw it as some kind of, you know, happy little country that was very artistic and kind of unique and things like that. And it could kind of go back into that direction, but we've kind of got to give up on the kind of economic power of the country a little bit in order to probably achieve that. But I think Japan's got a bright future. It's just how we approach that is the question, really.
So I think that's actually a perfect question for you, Alex, because you come from the empire country.
Yeah.
You come from, you know, the sun never sets on the British Empire.
But it's been the British Empire has been in decline since the 1920s.
So that is,
or before that, perhaps.
So this is why I'm bringing this up, is like, the British Empire was once this like formidable force that like no one could touch, and then I mean that's kind of like what Japan was economically during the bubble.
Yeah.
And then at some point, the world kind of hit a reset button, and like the British Empire became the UK.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of rethought your position in the world, and you're still rethinking it. And I don't really think that the UK is a bad place. I think it's a great place, rich culture, a lot of people, a lot of great tech companies and things coming out of the country.
Yeah.
And like, but what I mean is like there were the naysayers, after when, for example, the loss of India and things like that, they were like, oh, the British Empire is just going to falter. It's all over, all is lost. But then, you guys retooled, you figured your shit out. You kind of like, came to terms with the history and everything. And then let's do a better future.
I mean, the US has got this ahead, right?
Oh, dude, the US, let's not even get into that because it's like, it's happening live in front of our faces. But you guys have figured this out, at least for the most part, right?
But nations, ascend, descend, change.
Yeah.
And it's just, how they evolve over time. And Japan's been here for thousands of years.
The difference is that Japan was never a big player on the global stage until, a few decades ago. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, in Japan, punch well above their weight.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody says, China is rising. No. That's not how I view it. It's China's kanji is Naka-kuni. It means the central country.
Middle kingdom, yeah.
Right? And so it's weird that China is not the biggest GDP, biggest economic powerhouse of the world. It's weird that that's not the case right now.
Yeah.
It's not that, someday China's going to say, no. Why isn't China the And so Japan was punching well above their weight class for a long, long time. And good on them. But then, as things move forward, as your populations change, China's 1 billion fucking people. America's only 300 something million. Japan's like 100, we just discussed the other day, 120 million. Like it's just, they're doing really still today. Like obviously like the forecast and like, there's like the stagnation and everything, but whatever. Japan is still doing really, really well considering how small their population is.
120 million people, it's nuts, man.
And they're tiny little speck upon the earth. The country is a very small landmass.
I mean, the UK is smaller than Japan, but you've got to remember there's the Commonwealth as well. There's 20 billion people. Not 20 billion, sorry.
But yeah, there's a huge amount of people. That's what I'm saying. It's like, as a country, as a landmass, as a population, they're doing very well. And that's not to say that everything's rosy. I mean, there's problems. I bitch about it all the time because I pay a lot of fucking taxes to this country because I own businesses, right? And I disagree with the leadership. But at the same time, like the average everyday Japanese person works very, very hard. They're trying their best. I don't know if it's going to be like the future that it was before, but it'll be a future.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Japan's in a downturn that's going to continue. I think things are going to balance out.
You look at Italy, right? It used to be the Roman Empire, right? They used to control the entire world, basically, right? Yeah. Now they're Italy. You don't look down upon Italy because they lost the empire. You just go, you guys have a rich and, interesting culture and history.
Yeah.
And like, you guys are great now.
I think the thing is Asia's catching up, right? That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's because Japan was so far in the lead.
Catching up again, right?
Again. Oh, yeah.
Right? Catching up again.
Well, Japan's always been in the forefront of creating economic wealth in Asia, right? And China's so monolithic and huge, it takes a long time to turn the head of that hydra around. It's not just one thing. It takes many, many years to get it to move. But when it does,
it's huge. It's not even huge, but like in the last 20 years, China's just like broken every expectation. Like I don't want to get into China, but as far as Japan, they punch well above their weight class, and they're doing quite well. There's a lot of things that should change, but during the pandemic, and here's something I want to talk about: the amount of hojoki, the stipends and support from the federal government here has really, really like ignited a little bit of a second renaissance of economic growth.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this pans out. But I'm hopeful. And the average everyday Japanese person is no longer looking for like lifetime employment in a monolithic company. They're doing their more startup kind of thing. They're more like Silicon Valley type thing, and so it should be good.
I think there's going to be a lot more artistic kind of interest in
I hope so.
Coming forward. I really
Art
do.
from Japan is so much different from the West, so that's why it's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, like Western art is great, but like Japanese storytelling and like Western storytelling is just so different.
That's why I'm buying Japanese art like that over there.
That art
which you've
sucks.
just slagged
I
off.
don't like. It's turds on a fucking yellow
shut up.
canvas.
It's great.
Okay, so to the people on YouTube and on our audio podcast. By the way, if those on Reddit right now, we have a podcast called
Small Talk Japan.
Small Talk Japan, and we do this usually more sober in a studio that's completely real, and it's actually a green screen. But we, every week we talk about news and politics and things like that.
Prepared as well, usually.
I'm actually the prepared one. You guys are just like, right, what am I reading today?
Yeah, I do that.
But I need you guys to opine because, like, you and Nodsky, like, you guys have opinions about the topics and stuff like that in a perspective that I don't have.
There was nothing to read today, so there was no preparation for this one.
Dude, there was so much preparation
Just got
today.
some snacks. You just got some shit from the shop.
Anyway, you guys at home, thanks for listening. We're going to continue the RPAN, the Reddit back and forth and like answering questions. But for you guys at home who are watching the podcast on YouTube and on our Spotify or whatever, thank you so much. It's kind of a rare opportunity for us to get drunk and just talk about things freely. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a comment. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.
Bye.